The Blues get back to winning ways in the Premier League with a crucial away win in the West Midlands. Watch until the end of this review to hear all of my thoughts on today's match. Hello people, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video. This is my review of the match that took place this evening at Villa Park in the Premier League between Aston Villa and Chelsea, which Chelsea ended up winning by 3-1. So what I'm going to do for you guys in terms of this review is that firstly, I will run you through the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of the match. I will then be giving you guys my thoughts on the match itself, and yes, I will be breaking it down into the first half and the second half. And in addition to that, I'll be giving you guys the positives and the negatives that I took from the game. And lastly, I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on our upcoming Premier League fixture that will be taking place next Wednesday at Stamford Bridge against Brighton and Hove Albion, with kickoff at 7:30 p.m. UK time. So without further ado, let's get straight into this review. So we shall begin this review by taking a look at the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of today's match against Aston Villa. And yes, we're going to begin by talking about the formation, and of course it was a 3-4-3/3-4-2-1. But I'm not going to lie to you guys, during the course of the game it did look as though we were lining up in a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2. But yes, the base formation was a 3-4-3/3-4-2-1. And in terms of the personnel that Thomas Tuchel fielded, he went with Edouard Mendy in goal. The back three was made up of Trevor Chalobah, Thiago Silva, and Antonio Rudiger. The midfield four, including the two wing backs, was Reece James, N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, and Marcos Alonso. And the front three was Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic, and Callum Hudson-Odoi. So that is the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of today's match against Aston Villa. Now, in terms of my thoughts on the match, and yes, I will begin by talking about my thoughts on the first half. I have to say that it was a fairly even start to the match, although Aston Villa did have the better of the opening exchanges, as they were able to get into their final third a lot easier than we were. Or they found it a lot easier to get into their final thirds than we did. I felt as though we were getting the ball into the final third, but we weren't doing anything with it. We just kept pushing the ball out wide and hoping for the best with the crosses that we were putting into the box. And that didn't really muster up anything, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I have to say that with the way Aston Villa were cutting through us at times in the first 20 to 25 minutes of the game, the goal that they scored was a deserved goal because it was coming. They were cutting through us on... They were cutting through us, and they kept doing so. And the goal, I'm sorry, this is just poor from Reece James. The cross wasn't even a good one. He decides to head it, which you can understand why, but the very fact that he just... Do you know what? It's one of those ones that is really hard to explain, and I hope I'm not coming across as someone who's going to slate a player for making a mistake. That's not me at all, but what I'm trying to say is that it was a poor mistake by Reece James. The way he headed it, it looked as though it came off the back of his head, and had he been deeper, he would have been able to use his legs to clear the ball. But honestly, that cross was not threatening whatsoever. It looked as though Edouard Mendy was going to get onto it anyway, and for him to just do that, it's just not good enough. But I'm sure Reece James knows that. He did go on to have a better game, particularly in the second half where he made a lot of blocks. But anyways, I'll save that for later on. But yes, poor goal to concede, and that is by no means Edouard Mendy's fault. But anyways, it was a deserved goal for Aston Villa. But shortly after that, we got the equaliser, and it came through some brilliant play from Callum Hudson-Odoi, who got the ball in the left wing position where he was stationed at the start of the match, like I've said already, or the left forward position. But anyways, he got the ball and he got fouled by the Aston Villa player, and it was a definite penalty. No one can dispute that. Definite penalty, like I've just said, and Jorginho stepped up to take it, and he sent Emi Martinez the wrong way to put Chelsea back on level terms. And I have to say that um, we got away with one. We really did get away with one because Aston Villa really did put us under a lot of pressure, and we were struggling in the final third. But overall, I have to say that um, it was a half where we did everything. Do you know what? It's a funny one to explain, like I've said already, but um, I felt as though we did everything um, to stop Aston Villa from scoring with one of their actual players, and I felt as though we did that, and the only thing that was really missing was our ability to keep the ball in the final third, which I have to say really did cost us. Um, because that did result in Aston Villa hitting us on on a couple of dangerous counterattacks, which I almost forgot to add. But yes, overall, it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the greatest first half performance from Chelsea, but there were glimpses of us getting into good positions and threatening to take shots on, but it just wasn't enough. And for me, um, Aston Villa can probably count themselves unlucky to go into the halftime interval on level terms. But yes, in terms of my thoughts on the second half, I have to say that we dominated the second half. Romelu Lukaku came on for Trevor Chalobah, and I'm not entirely sure if it was due to an injury or if it was just a tactical substitution. Hopefully, it's the latter, because we have had loads of problems with injuries of recent. And speaking of that, Thiago Silva did also have to go off with an injury, and he got taken off for Andreas Christensen. So hopefully, he is okay. But anyways, Romelu Lukaku came on, and for me, he changed the game. He added he added a sense of physicality to our front line that we desperately needed. And he bullied that Villa defence. He bullied those two centre backs of Aston Villa, and he got the goal that put us into the lead. And I have to say, this is brilliant play from Callum Hudson-Odoi. The ball was inch perfect, and Romelu Lukaku just ran off the centre back. Um, I think it was Tyrone Mings. He ran off one of the Villa centre backs and just headed it home. And with the way we started the second half, it was a deserved goal. And um, after that, we just continued to pile on the pressure. Yes, Aston Villa did have spells where they got the ball and threatened to hit us on counter-attacks, but I felt as though we dealt with them very well. Yes, they did win a lot of free kicks, and it was getting a bit frustrating. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I thought they were going to equalise and take a point away from this game. But as the game went on, Thomas Tuchel made one last change, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Mateo Kovacic for N'Golo Kante, and I felt that Mateo Kovacic added a sense of dynamism to our midfield. And I'm not saying that N'Golo Kante didn't. I'm just saying that Mateo Kovacic did add a sense of dynamism to our midfield, and I felt it was the right substitution to make because, of course, N'Golo Kante's just come back from injury, and we don't want to risk him. Um, because we do have some big games coming up as well. So I think that was the right substitution. I think Mateo Kovacic got us forward a lot more as well. He helped us out. He helped the attackers. Sorry, he helped the attackers out as well. He helped the defense really well. Or he helped the defense out really well, shall I say? But he did a great job. Um, he could have gotten an assist. For Callum Hudson-Odoi, but his shot went straight at the goalkeeper, and he should have done a lot better. Mason Mount had a chance in the second half where he fired the ball wide of the target, and he really should have squared that because there were players in front of him, Aston Villa players in front of him, so it wasn't the correct decision for him to take the shot on. Romelu Lukaku was in the box, and I think Christian Pulisic was there as well, but there were players there, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Marcos Alonso had a chance, but his shot was deflected and it went out for a corner. But anyways, we had some glorious chances in the second half that we didn't take. But Romelu Lukaku um, got the ball. I think it was from Callum Hudson-Odoi. I can't remember who he got the ball from, but he received. I think it was Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think Callum Hudson-Odoi controlled the ball with his head, brought it down, passed it to Romelu Lukaku, who was in an onside position. He took it past the Aston Villa defender, shoved him off the ball, got into the box, and it was a definite penalty. Again, a definite penalty. No one can argue with that. It was a definite penalty, and for me, the Aston Villa player should have been sent off, but it didn't matter too much because at this point it was um, at this point we were in added time at the end of the match. But anyways, Jorginho stepped up to take the penalty, and yes, he scored. And Emi Martinez did dive the right way, but he wasn't getting anywhere near it, and it was a deserved win for us, a deserved goal, in my opinion. I felt as though Jorginho had a really good game. He controlled the midfield. He was getting stuck in. He was fouled a few times in the match as well, which is good. It shows that he's doing a good job. But yes, overall, great performance, especially in the second half. A dominant performance in the second half. Yes, um, it wasn't it wasn't easy as we all predicted, but I felt as though we deserved to win. And in terms of the positives and the negatives that I've taken from this match, two positives, one negative. The first positive that I've taken from this match is the fact that Romelu Lukaku came on and changed the game. And yes, while you have to give Romelu Lukaku credit for coming on and changing the game, you have to give Thomas Tuchel credit for this as well because he made the change. He saw that it wasn't working in the final third in the first half, and he brought him on despite the limited amount of attacking players we have in our squad at the moment. So fair play to Thomas Tuchel for that, and good performance from Romelu Lukaku. And for me, he was the man of the match. That's the first positive that I took from the match. The second positive that I took from the match is that we limited the amount of chances in which Aston Villa could create in the second half. Defensively, I felt as though we were really solid in the second half. Um, and I don't know if that's due to the fact that we shifted Reece James back into the back three or um, or whatever else. But we were really solid in that second half. And they only had one shot on target in that second half, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, we really did restrict the amount of chances in which they could generate. Sadly, there has to be a negative, and that's the fact that we looked pedestrian in the first half, especially in the final third. And honestly, hopefully this improves in future games because we've got some big games coming up and this can't continue. But yes, we got the win. I'm gonna not I'm not gonna delve too deep into it, but yes, it wasn't great in the final third in the first half. But yes, that is it for my thoughts on Chelsea's 3-1 victory over Aston Villa at Villa Park. Please do drop your thoughts on this match in the comment section below and I will do my very best to respond. Let's move on to the final part of this review. Now, to finish off this review, I will be giving you guys my thoughts on our upcoming Premier League fixture that will be taking place next Wednesday at Stamford Bridge against Brighton and Hove Albion with kickoff at 7:30 p.m. UK time. Honestly, I do believe that we can win this game. I do expect us to turn up, especially after the way we've played in our last two games against two very difficult opponents to play against in Brentford and Aston Villa. This will not be an easy game because Brighton and Hove Albion are not on a good run. I don't know what the score is or what the score will be in their game against Brentford this evening, but it will not be an easy game regardless of the result. So we have to turn up. We have to keep getting the job done and we have to keep winning if we are to get ourselves into a better position and in a position where we can say that we're actually in a title race. But anyways, that's all I can say. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you very soon. That is it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do enjoy your Christmas celebrations and I'll see you very soon. Come on, you Blues. Come on, Thomas Tuchel. And peace.